Alrighty, so I'm out here waiting for my tour, and it's going to be a 2-hour tour in the caves at Mammoth Caves. So I'm going to attempt to film as much as possible. Some of it may not turn out, but I'm pretty sure that the editing will ensue. So while we were here, we got our national park all access pass. And this gets us into any of the national parks for free. So, and I'm sure that there's some other benefits to it, but just getting us into the national parks for free is going to be pretty decent, because I hear some of them cost. So,
easy tour for folks who don't mind doing stairs, hills, and tight spaces. Really hard tour if you have any really bad medical conditions. So, things to keep in mind is we're going to do 500 stairs today. None of those 500 stairs are optional to do this tour. So, if you're going on this tour, our initial descent is going to be down 280 stairs through a series of vertical cave passageways that fluctuate in size. Some places I can't touch the walls, and other places I have to take my hat off because it won't fit. So if you're claustrophobic, probably not going to enjoy that. If you don't like heights, as we're going down these vertical shafts, will be places where there are pits that are 80 feet deep below you. Don't look over the road. When we get to the bottom of the stairs, will be a dry cave passage. We will have some hills to climb. Those are not included in the stair counts. We'll have some steep hills, several sets of steep stairs, and then slowly things will start to level out for us. By the end of this tour, it's a nice easy walk right out of the cave, which you're going to earn the hike to the easy part. At the end, we will see the frozen Niagara section of cave, where we have a lot of cave formations. With a group this small, we should have plenty of time in that section for photos and sort of thing. If you want to take photos, it's fine. We do ask that you turn your flash off for flash photography in the cave at any point during the tour. And probably the most important things before we load the bus: no food or drink other than water, no tobacco products, no weapons, no monopods, selfie sticks, tripods, any of that stuff. And when we come back, we're going to unload at the lodge, which is right over there. And we're going to walk across some mats to clean our shoes and prevent the spread of a fungal disease called white nose syndrome. It kills bats. It doesn't affect us. We just want to make sure you don't pack it out of this cave into any other cave. So everyone will be required to walk across those mats at the end of the tour. Now, do keep in mind, we're not likely to see bats, but if you see a bat today, don't touch it. All right, bats are wild animals. They carry all sorts of diseases that we can catch. White nose isn't one, but what's one we could catch? Rabies, yeah, people always jump to the exciting ones first. So we want you to take home a memorable experience, but not that memorable, okay? Rabies is not the way to go. So if all this sounds good to you, or if you just walked up and have no idea what's going on, get your tickets out, give them to the driver over there, and get loaded up. That breach where the rock above couldn't support its own weight, it collapses in, it breaks, and then water can slowly start to make its way in, and then it picks up pace and it starts to carve vertical cave. And so from the time you came through that second door, you've been in natural cave passage. All right, this is not man-made. You will see a few drill spots along the walls from where they installed the stairs and stuff, but as far as all of this that you're seeing, this is natural cave. So if you've ever wondered what does it look like under a sinkhole, this is it. Now, I love this spot because it's big enough to get a group of people, and if we watch patiently, my light will hang on. There we go. You can see the water come down. To give you an idea of the distance that water is falling.
That's cool.
Now, don't stare with your mouth open. All right. So our first real pit is coming up on the left. This is side little pit.
oh yeah. How deep is that?
About 80 feet or so.
Oh, okay.
It's actually cooler if you're standing down there looking up. I've had the opportunity to do that.
That's
It
cool.
looks even deeper.
Yeah, well, yes. It's amazing how high things are when you're looking down compared to being on the ground looking up.
Yep. All right, let's last set of stairs down. At least until the end of the tour.
Somebody wasn't listening to you, no scratching things into the walls.
Well, a lot of this was done when it was privately owned.
Yeah.
We've been a park since 41. But people have been touring this park since 21.
Okay. So are all these caves in this area privately owned?
Everything that doesn't sit under the national park, yes.
Okay. Oh, this is, oh, I could live in here. Oh, you got chairs and stuff in here. Nice.
You folks can feel free to have a seat if you'd like. I'm going to be here for just a minute. If you want to skip the first couple benches, it'll make it easier sitting, probably. Those first couple were made for people with little bitty short legs.
Well, I could sit in the front row.
Now, you can sit wherever you want. Just know if you sit in the first two rows, you're going to be sitting with your knees and your chin. A little breakdown. So basically it pinches off the cave. But in the 1920s, when they were first discovering this section of cave, they found a way through that breakdown. And they found a room they call fairy ceiling, and that's where we're headed to in just a moment. What I love about fairy ceiling, though, is it's not water-carved cave. Water never flowed through that section. It is only there because the water-carved cave was full of the rock that fell, and it created this breakdown passage. And so you get to see limestone in a much different way than you typically would. Now, before we head up and see that stuff, do you guys have any questions? All fossils that we find in the rock are seashells. And here we have two ammonites. So you can see these two big swirls. Closest relative would be like a nautilus. So you're talking about something with a big spiral shell and it kind of looks like a squid stuck in it. And there's the evidence too that they got trapped well enough to preserve. Most of it gets crushed up and just becomes part of the limestone, but occasionally you'll get to see some fossils sticking out. When we get to the top up here, I'll point it out. I won't be able to light it up for everybody, but if you look where I mentioned, you'll be able to see there's also coral in the rock. And so we see a lot of coral species down here, and quite a few shark species, as it turns out, in these rocks. But being that sharks are mostly cartilage, usually only find the teeth. Though at the base level of the cave recently, they have found some shark skeleton remains, which is kind of cool. Think about Kentucky once being warm and tropical versus what it is today. So this is definitely, along this route, one of my favorite spots to be able to stop a group. Because, well, if you look at this rock, it is big enough to crush us all. And it's leaning against that rock, which happens to be smaller than this rock. And it's also leaning, and it's sitting on that single point of that rock. And that rock is a triangle shape, which means it's really structurally strong. But that little one that it's sitting on probably isn't. And you notice they get smaller as you go down. Now, if you paid attention at any point in any physics class, then you know that an object at rest will stay at rest. Nothing.
It doesn't look like it's
Don't touch
Don't
it.
touch.
I've seen grown people reach up and push on that rock to see if it would move. And that is how I know that Darwin was onto something. Just telling you the truth, folks. I can't make this stuff up. So when we go through this narrow spot, we're going to go up what we call the submarine stairs. 49 stairs. If you've ever been on a submarine, you'll know that they don't really have stairs. They have more.
This is cool. Man. At some point that decided to fall. Wow.
So before you guys come in and have a seat, you'll take a look down there at that rock. And then you go on by, and I'm just going to show everybody as they come by. It's down here at this wall. And you guys are coming in. Go down there, the wall. Flash that plate, this is not the stage. Who needs light for cave, right? What is the wall? What we're talking about the wall here just a moment. Once that became stable, it just stopped moving. And that's good because there's some rocks like the one right up there that barely are hanging on. But they've been barely hanging on as long as people have been walking through here. And they're not going to go anywhere. Believe it or not, right here where you're sitting now, with all these big loose jagged rocks of death, you are too high up for a flood. Right, because we're a couple hundred feet above the water table. You're too far down for an earthquake. You don't have to worry about tornadoes. You don't have to worry about anything really where you're sitting right now. The only thing that could potentially go wrong
Oh yeah, that's
That rock up there looks questionable.
that looks nice.
So what you've been seeing on this tour route is not necessarily indicative of what Mammoth Cave became known for. Okay, Mammoth Cave became known because of that big passageways, more like this. And this is still fairly small. And this is multiple layers of cave that all collapse into one big room. We call this Lover's Leap Canyon. This is Lover's Leap. We will not be leaping from it today, no matter how in love you are. But this is a good place to stop and talk a little bit about that stability and how we get the world Mammoth Cave. I'm not technical with that on much more.
I hear you there.
Now,